We hope that you think this show is a hit, because the sky's the limit. We will slip all the highlights right on by you, and Red always loves the show. Dig the shades. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sportsnight. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. Another fun edition of Sports Night.
Yeah, we're getting close to the end, and unfortunately, we haven't been able to get as much video as we would like toward the end of this season, but we definitely have plenty of stuff to talk about, and some teams getting ready for playoffs, some already in playoffs, and several will have their final week of the regular season this week. So it is crunch time, and of course, also everybody's starting to get that summer fever with the end of the school year right around the corner as well. Big holiday weekend coming up this week, and then just a couple of weeks left, and summer's here. We are going to start by talking about the boys this summer, the baseball team, with a couple of games last week. A heartbreaker against Spring Lake Park as they fell behind early to the Panthers, and their comeback falls just short. They lose 8-7 to the Panthers. Tommy Dutton had a 2-for-4 game, had a double and an RBI. Jaden Kopp drove in a couple of runs. Lee was able to get on base a couple of times and get to the plate once. Logan Ness also 1 for 3 with a stolen base and a run scored. Tommy Dutton took the loss in 4 1/3 innings pitched. Well, the Cardinals were back home on Wednesday, hoping to end their 4-game losing streak, but hosting one of the best teams in the state. Maple Grove Crimson were leading the Northwest Suburban with a 12-2 record. They had won 7 straight games and were ranked top 5 in Minnesota. Needless to say, the Cardinals would have to have their best game if they hope to come out on top. The Crimson jumped to a big lead right out of the gate, top of the first, 2-on, 2-out for Mason McMahon, and he doubles to right center. Hunter Gerber and Cole Newell score as Maple Grove has a 3-0 lead. And they weren't done in the first. Brian O'Dwyer singles through the left side of the infield. That will bring another run to the plate. 4 runs in the first, all of them unearned, and the Crimson are cruising. Cardinals get on the board in the bottom of the third. Jaden Kopp with one of his 2 hits in the game. This shot to left center allows Jacob Powell to score from second. Cards down but not out. But Maple Grove doubles its lead in the top of the fourth. Chaden Fisher with a rocket to left center. This one is off the front of the scoreboard. A 3-run home run puts the Crimson in complete control, up 7-1. They put up more crooked numbers in the 6th and 7th innings. O'Dwyer with a bomb to the base of the wall in center field. The RBI triple, part of a 4-run 6th inning. They had 3 more in the 7th, and they run away with a 14-2 victory.
Yeah, we were at that game, and Maple Grove was really an impressive team. And granted, they didn't get an earned run in their first scoring of the game, but they hit the ball really well, and they gave the Cardinals all they could handle. And unfortunately, you get down like that, and it's really tough to get back into the ball game. We talk about it; they're not built for comebacks, and certainly not going to be in that case.
And another thing is, errors have plagued the team all season. To have an error on the first batter of the ball game, lead to 4 unearned runs and lead you into that big, and it did snowball. I think they had 3 or 4 errors by the time the game was over, and some of that snowballs and some of the sagging shoulders, the here we go again, unfortunately may have come into play in that contest as well. They were supposed to be going up to Duluth East on Thursday last week, but it was postponed until Friday, and they hosted Duluth East. The Greyhounds came down and played a night game at Wintercrest. It didn't last long, just 5 innings, and the Cardinals got their bats going big time, and they win 14-3 over their section rivals. Jaden Kopp had 3 hits in the game. Colin McCullough had a couple, drove in 4. Zach White and Patrick Wright and Zach Novak all had 2 hits in the game. Zach White got the victory on the mound, going 5 innings, giving up 5 hits, 3 runs, only 1 of them earned. He walked 2 and struck out 3. And they will wrap up the regular season this week. They're at Andover today, Monday, and they will be at Shakopee on Thursday. And then they go into the Section tournament. I'm sure as a lower seed, it does make the bracket a little more difficult. But as we talk about, nothing matters until you get to the playoffs. Everybody gets in, and then it's just about winning at the right time.
And they're hitting the ball right now. I mean, you look at Jaden Kopp. I mean, he's really hit the ball well. And a number of
Zach Novak, we talked
Zach
about
Novak's another
hitting
one.
over 500.
Yeah, and Manders too. He's been hitting the ball well. But you touched on it. Defense has really been the key. If they continue to commit the errors that they have been, they're not going to go far in the playoffs. But if they can tighten their defense, they have a chance to do something.
Yep, and their pitchers have to be in control.
Yes.
As well. But defense will be huge for them if they hope to go deep into the playoffs. Playoffs start this week for the softball team. They wrapped up the regular season last week. First against Cambridge Isani, the Cardinals put a thumping on the Blue Jackets. 12-2 in this one. Look at the day for Grace Graham. 3 for 3, a double, a home run, a walk, a stolen base, 7 RBIs.
Crazy.
And she scored twice. Leah Numala, also perfect day at the plate. 2 for 2 with a double, a couple of walks. Drove in a run and scored 4 times. Abby Ness had a couple of hits, scored a couple of times, drove one in as well. Vivian Hernandez adding to her RBI total. And Maya Ruddy got the win. She pitched 3 innings, gave up 2 hits, 2 runs. Neither of them was earned. She did not walk anyone and had 3 strikeouts. Unfortunately, they also had a nail-biting loss at the hands of the Spring Lake Park Panthers last week. They come up just short, losing to Spring Lake Park 6-5. Abby Ness had 2 for 5 days. So did Leah Numala. Both of them scored a run. Jaden Gale and Chloe Christie each had hits and RBIs in the game. Maya Ruddy took the loss, pitched 3 1/3. And then they closed out the regular season against Andover, and the Huskies thumped them 13-3. The most unfortunate thing about that, you see their regular season record at 7-13. The most unfortunate thing about that is now they turn around and they start the playoffs against those same Andover Huskies.
Well, they got that loss out of their system. Hopefully they can rebound and get the win. But you're right. And, Andover's a really good ball club. And they're going to have their work cut out for them. But they have the opportunity because they, too, are hitting the ball well right now.
Well, and it's double elimination in the section tournament. They will start at Andover on Wednesday.
Correct.
And Howie?
We'll be there.
Of course, we can't show it live, but we will have it here for you later on Wednesday evening. And then win or lose, they will play on Saturday. Of course, it's always easier if you can get the win first round and avoid getting into that consolation bracket too early.
Always fun. Playoff time is always a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
Well, the tennis team went into last week's section tournament as the 9th seed in the 13-team 5AA bracket. It meant a trip to Armstrong on Tuesday to open the postseason against the 8th-seeded Falcons. The Cardinals lost to Armstrong 4-3 early in the year, so they knew they had a great chance to get some redemption by pulling off the upset. Coach Stork getting the guys ready for the matchup, reminding them to have confidence, play each point at the moment. Junior captain Sam Murillo with an outstanding season. He was downright dominant against Armstrong's top singles player. Murillo wins easily 6-1, 6-0. Sophomore Ryder Held lost at third singles in the first matchup with Armstrong. He moved up the line since then. He comes up with a huge win for Coon Rapids at second singles, winning in straight sets 6-4, 6-4. 8th grader Cooper Held lost a tough 3-set battle at third singles, but Dylan Anderson gets the Cardinals another big win at four singles. Strong forehand play. This point helps him to a 6-2, 6-2 victory. Coon Rapids needed just one at doubles. Their top duo of Cal Jensvold and Joe Savelli played well. Strong net play gets them this point, but unfortunately they come up short, losing 3-6, 4-6. Blake DeGroat and Will Wagner in the far court at second doubles. They battle hard but lose a heartbreaker, 4-6, 6-4, 6-7. Always a tough one. John Pokchiva and Peyton Lett team up at third doubles and they secure the Cardinals' victory. Great play at the net right here as they win 6-1, 6-4. The Cardinals flip the script with a 4-3 win to advance in the bracket. Always nice to get that 4-3, be on the top of the 4-3.
Yeah, and we talked about it throughout the year, right? They had a great season.
Absolutely.
But they had a couple of those 4-3 losses, especially early. I'm trying to remember, it was like this same day or back-to-back days that they lost 4-3 to Armstrong,
Yeah.
and I think it was Irondale, maybe in a tournament right around that same time, early in the season. But I think they with that they like evened their record. I think they were like 3-3 in 4-3. Don't quote me on that, but it was right around 4-3. Either way, they could have been that much better had they been able to win those early ones that they lost 4-3. But this is a team that is very exciting to see what they'll be able to do, because not a single senior on the team. Unfortunately, when you're the 8 and 9 team, there's a lawnmower right in front of you. So they did pull off the minor upset over the Falcons, but that just meant they ran into the buzzsaw known as the Wayzata Trojans. The number 1 ranked Trojans beat them 7-0. There you see the singles score. Murillo 1626, Ryder held 0606, Cooper held 1606. Best match of the day from the Cardinals comes from Dylan Anderson in 4 singles. He lost 4-6, 2-6. All 3 doubles teams lost 0606.
Well, after the show last week, I was watching the news, and they had a report on the Wayzata High School tennis team. They are really, really good. I don't think they're number 1 in the state. I think they're number 2. But nonetheless, Coon Rapids knew they were going to have trouble going into that matchup, and obviously you see the score that they handled them pretty easily.
Well, and then the top 2 seeds in the section tournament did advance to the championship, and I think they either played today or they play tomorrow on Tuesday. Individual section tournament starts on Thursday. San Maria will be the number 4 seed. Ryder Held will be the other singles player competing for the Cardinals. Doubles teams will be Savelli and Jensfold, and also Dylan Anderson and Cooper Held.
We wish them luck.
Track team had a tri-meet with Blaine and Armstrong last week. There was no official team scores. It was just a final tune-up for the track teams to get ready for the Northwest Suburban Conference Championships, which will be held this week on Tuesday and Thursday. And then the section tournaments will be next week on Wednesday and Friday. As we've talked about, they've got a couple of guys, a couple of girls that have a good chance to grab section or conference and section championships and see if they can get themselves into the state tournament. For Kennedy Martinson, it would be a return to the state tournament. She is the only returning state entrant for either team. But MJ Galama, a good shot to make it in the jumping competitions as well. Boys golf team competing in the final Northwest Suburban Conference regular season tournament at Loggers Trail last week. They finished 13th place with a 341. Gavin DeVries led the way with an 82. Berg was right behind him with an 83. Thompson an 86. Peyton Himley factored into the scoring with a 90. Ben Roberstad had a 92, and Nathan Clark off his normal pace with a 94. Cardinals will compete in the Northwest Suburban Conference Championships. That will be held at Bunker Hills on Tuesday. The section tournament will start next Tuesday at Bunker Hills, with the second round being on Wednesday. Girls golf team in a couple of events last week. On Monday, they partook in the Andover Invite at Bunker Hills, and the Cardinals finished 14th place in that event. Kate Garbo with their best round of the day shot a 96. Struggled a little bit more on the back half than she did on the front, but finishes with a respectable 96. Fellow captain Emily Verbeek into the clubhouse with a 105. Maya Kelly shot a 121 with her sister shooting a 123. Sophia Meyer shot a 133 in that event. On Tuesday, they competed in their final dual meet of the season against a very good Maple Grove club. Still, that 216, not quite where they know they are capable of getting. We saw them score down into the, I think 208 was their best team score of the season. But either way, even if they surpass that by 10 or 15 strokes, not coming anywhere close to Maple Grove's 153. Kate Garbo, a solid afternoon against the Crimson, shooting a 43. Emily Verbeek in the next best round with a 53. Eleanor Defoe had a 57. Kelly shot a 63, and Maya Kelly shot a 64. They close out the regular season with a 1-5 record in dual meets. They too will compete in the Northwest Suburban Conference tournament. Their tournament is also at Bunker Hills on Thursday this week. Their section tournament is at North Fork, and that will be Tuesday, Thursday next week, and we wish them all the best in all of those events.
Absolutely.
Boys lacrosse team will close out the regular season. Well, so will the girls lacrosse team. Will close out the regular season this week. Last week, a big victory over the Blaine Bengals. Same score as the girls beat Blaine on the previous Friday. The Catbirds beat them 10-6 on Monday. Blake Lewick with 4 goals. Owen Spencer added a couple. Henry Leff had a goal and 2 assists. Harry Koval, Max Walls, and Julian Packard had the other goals for St. Louis Park Coon Rapids. They followed it up with a 15-11 win over Totino Grace on Wednesday. Unfortunately, no scores posted on the hub for that one, but a great win puts them at 6-4 on the season. Going into the I think they only had 3 wins last year, so they've already doubled last year's win total. They've got a chance. They have 3 games left this week. They host Armstrong tonight over at Spring Lake Park on Monday night. They're at Champlin Park on Wednesday, and then they're at Centennial on Thursday. Champlin Park is beneath them in the conference standings. Right. Both Centennial and Armstrong are above them. Correct. But these are, if they can even win one, they would ensure that they finish with a record over 500, which would be a huge, big step.
Absolutely.
If they could win 2, they have the potential to be in that top 3 in the conference. It depends on how some other matches play out this week as well. But I mean, for them to be in that upper part of the section or of the conference bracket is pretty impressive, considering this is a team. A co-op that did not exist before last season. They had just 3 wins last year, and they've doubled that and could do even better this year. So if they could 7-8 wins possibly,
would that be nice to see?
I think 9 would be a long shot to think they would sweep
they could
this
get
week.
8.
But it's very possible they could win all 3 this week, which would be amazing. But even if they finish at 6 and 7. A pretty impressive thing, but I think they win at least 1 this week. You can quote me on that part.
It's in writing.
Well, the girls lacrosse team opened last week's play looking for their 3rd win in 4 games. Cardinals were at home on Monday night hosting Osseo Park Center. The OPC squad had just 1 win on the season, and they were 0-8 in conference play. It was a great chance for the Cardinals to surpass last year's win total, and they weren't about to let that opportunity slip away. Cardinals set the tempo right away. Good feed inside to Kennedy Bolander. She shoots low and scores. Just the start of a career night for their senior captain. Cardinals keep feeding her. Maddie Fowler finds Bolander behind the defense. She scores up high. It's 2-0 quickly. Here she comes again, this time off the feed from Sophia Delfrati. Even with 2 girls trying to mark her, Bolander had the first 4 goals of the game. When she wasn't scoring, she was dishing. Bolander to Belinda Griffith behind the defense. It was 5-0 Cardinals at the half. Early in the second, OPC on the attack. Sam Marnholz denies the point-blank chance. She stopped 15 of the 18 goals she saw. Fowler to Bolander again. Fowler had 5 assists. Bolander an impressive 8 goals plus 1 helper. It was 9-1 at that point. Bolander done for the night. Big smile on her face. Red there to help celebrate a 9-3 win for the Cardinals, their 4th of the season. They had just 3 wins last year. They get their 4th there, which was great. Unfortunately, they ran into Andover on
Andover's really
Wednesday,
good.
And the Andover Girls Lacrosse Club is very quality, and they handled them 18-5. Kennedy Bolander 3 goals. Lila Gilliard had a couple, and Maddie Fowler had 1 assist. And there you see Marnholz right about 50% saves, which is outstanding. But it's a tough team to try and stop.
Well, and you get that win. You're coming off that win, which obviously feels good, but you knew coming into it, Andover is one of the better teams in the conference, if not the best team in the conference, one right up there. And they showed exactly why they were one of those.
Well,
better
and
teams.
they're without Anna Kepke right now, who was hurt in the Blaine game the previous Friday, so she did not play in either
Which hurts a
of
lot.
last week's games. And she is most likely out for this week's games. They're very, very hopeful that she'll be back in time for sections. But the Cardinals are hosting Centennial tonight, Monday night. They'll be at Maple Grove on Wednesday, and then they will go into the section tournament most likely as a lower seed.
Yep.
We'll have a very tough test ahead of them in round one, but they've taken a step forward. And you know, this is a team though that has had two outstanding scorers leading the way, and unfortunately for them, both are seniors.
Yeah, well, and so obviously they're going to have to kind of regroup at the end of the year. But you know what? You've got a couple regular season games left before your playoffs, and you've got some opportunities to try and make some waves.
Well, we will have playoffs from here on out. The softball playoffs start on Wednesday, and then we will see some lacrosse playoffs next week, baseball playoffs next week. Playoffs! It's an exciting time to be a Cardinal fan. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continue to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Thomas Cordell behind the camera and Howie Shapiro to my right, I'm Joe Young saying good night.